Hopefully I can get that done quickly. How's everyone doing? It is Thursday morning and it is 10 a.m. Pacific time. And today on the Kushners, we're talking about women and cannabis and sex, pain, and anxiety, depression, and some of the issues that affect us as women. So bring your questions. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. And let me know where you are tuning in from today. I'm going to head and share this real quick. All right. I can't do two things at the same time. So, today, like I said, we're going to be talking about a little bit about cannabis. I'm going to be talking about cannabis for sex, pain, anxiety, and depression. Because I feel like that's who is coming to me the most. These are people who I am seeing the most, is basically women who are having a lot of anxiety and depression. And I know a lot of it is basically the way that we live, our lifestyle. Y'all see how cozy I am right now on my chair. Is our lifestyle. We just run our lives at the margins. Like we're told to run, 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 and go, go, go. And there's lots of things happening always at the same time. So I know that many of the women I speak to, it's not that you let me know when you guys are here, because I don't know if I can see the comments and chats. So if you are here, say hello and let me know where you're tuning in from. So I know a lot of women struggle with balancing the to-do list, work, family, and responsibilities, all the things, career, trying to figure out what's next in life. And a lot of us struggle with anxiety, myself included. Cannabis has been such a great tool for me with depression and anxiety, specifically, because it's allowed me to be able to focus, to quiet my thoughts, to be able to get things done, to let go of some, social anxieties that I've had, which a lot of people would say, well, you're a social person. How do you have social anxiety? But I would get social anxiety at times. And then also with releasing the stress, releasing the anxiety and the depression, and being able to become more active, or not more active. Sometimes I'm not that active. Sometimes I just want to relax and go enjoy sitting at the beach. But what I'm saying is, once I was able to quiet those things in my head, I was able to be more focused on the things that I wanted to get done in my life. And I was also able to be more present. And so things like sex, which is one of the conversations we're going to have today, has in the past been one of those things where, you're not fully able to enjoy and be present because you're thinking about all the things that you need to do. And I posted an article, I think it was yesterday. It's on my Kushner's newsfeed, and I did see the comments from you guys there. Sex is better with cannabis, that it helps you quiet the mental load, and enjoy it. And then, there were just so many other people agreeing with this. And the truth is, I think a lot of people struggle with saying, well, sex is better with cannabis, or whatever you might say, but they're okay with actually you having a glass of wine or having a drink. So, it's just interesting where people fall in the category of, what they feel is appropriate and not appropriate. And I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I dropped my daughter off, and I told the teacher's like, oh, where are you going? I said, oh, I'm going to go to the beach later. And they were like, oh, have fun. Do you have mimosas with you? And I'm like, no, I don't really drink that much. And then she was like, oh, you have to have mimosas if you're going to the beach. I said, no, I have my other medicine. And their faces were like, okay. Like, it was totally awkward and uncomfortable when I said that. But it didn't feel awkward or uncomfortable to me. I'm like, no, I don't really enjoy alcohol that much. It's a preference. And but it was okay if I was going to the beach with my mimosas, but not okay if I was going to the beach and I wanted to have some cannabis and relax and meditate or whatever it was that I was going to do, right? So getting back to women in cannabis, I think one of the main questions that I get asked is, how will cannabis make me feel? Or, what are the, I think the biggest concern is, am I going to be high, and what's that going to feel like? And so, hey, Crystal, hey, Solomon. So one of the things that I always suggest to women is you don't have to get high if that's not what you want to do. Hey, Ivory. You don't have to get high. There are many other options. We just had someone in our Cannabis Nurses of Color group who presented on some products, and their their page is Farm Plus CBD, and I'll let Ivory type it if she can. And they just came and spoke in our group, and they actually have topicals. So for women, you can apply these, and it will help you with, relaxation and heightened sensation, and enjoying the experience more. Now, I will always tell people that regardless of if you do CBD, which I'll talk about the two. So there's hemp CBD, which is what is legal mostly everywhere now. And you will find it in, the convenience stores and gas stations and all kinds of places. However, that does not make them the most reliable sources. So hemp CBD, which is legal, only has 0.3% THC in it. That's the legal amount that it can have. So what that says is that it does have THC in it, but you won't have that high effect. However, when it comes to sex, you can get benefits from CBD with the 0.3%, the hemp-based products. But most immediate effects are from using, cannabis products that are THC either 1-to-1 or a different ratio where you're getting a little bit more THC. That's going to give you the most immediate results, okay? Unless you're doing a topical. And the topicals, I always say, your move may vary. You have to try different things. And that's the thing about cannabis that I think is so difficult for a lot of women, as well as, anyone who's really trying it, is cannabis is a specific to you. Your results are specific to you. Everyone's endocannabinoid system is very different. Everyone responds to things very differently. For example, my husband does grow our medicine. So he grows like 4 plants or something. It's not like we have like a, operation over here. But he grows what we need, and he grows specific ones that he likes that benefit him, and then he grows strains that benefit me. I can't take all of the same strains that he uses because they don't give me the same effects. For example, he likes a specific strain called Gorilla Glue. When I have that strain, it makes me feel cold and anxious. I don't know how to explain that, but that's my response. So you want to find the right type of medicine for you. So how do you do that? So I always tell people, if you live in a legal state and you can go to a dispensary, that's what I would do. You want to make sure that you're getting your products from someplace that's, has their labs, their products are lab tested. They have a checks and balance system. They can, with my dispensary, every time I go, they run my card. They have everything in the system of what I ordered last. If there's some kind of issue in the system, some kind of recall, then, the hope is that they would, that they can reach out to all the patients that have purchased said products. So just like, when you buy products at the store, they track, those things. So I always recommend the dispensary. Now, they may not be an option for everyone because obviously cannabis is not legal in all states. Some places have, just CBD flower. Some places have flower shops, dispensary, head shops. Like every state is so different. Here in California, I do know when I speak about California, I always feel like I'm, saying things, and then my East Coast people, which I love so much because y'all, I'm from New York, so that's my people. But they're always like, we don't have that here. So in California, I can order online. Someone will show up at my door with a bag. I don't have to go anywhere. For my first stint trying cannabis, that's what I did because I refused to go to the dispensary. I was terrified. I just had somebody deliver it to me, and I tried all the different things, and that's how I found out what I needed for myself. But when you're out there, you want to make sure that either you're going to a dispensary or that you're using products that are lab tested, and they can provide you, if it's if it's not a CBD product. A CBD product, you want to get the certificate of analysis, and that lets you know what the profile of this cannabis is, and that it's been tested, and that there's nothing crazy inside your cannabis that you don't want to ingest, right, or inhale, or whatever your method is. And then with the THC or cannabis indica strains and things like that, those strains, you want to make sure that you're getting your lab results too. So a lot of the products here, I don't have anything in front of me right now because I'm not in my pantry area, but the products here have usually have like a barcode or a QR code, and you can scan it, and then you can see the lab results, or you can ask for them in the dispensary if it's a smaller place. But a lot of places here, it's pretty organized where they've already got these systems in place because it's California. So getting back to sex, because I think that conversation is going to be most interesting. So I think the one thing that I want to share with you guys is that CBD, hemp CBD, is, if you're taking a pill, a tincture, or a patch, or any other method, edibles, gummies, etc., those are all very beneficial. The effects of CBD may not be immediate, it may be over time. So a lot of times women will ask me about CBD products because they don't want to test positive for THC because of their job, etc. The legal limit on the CBD hemp-based products, from what I have seen, I have not done any tests myself, and from what I've read in different research, most individuals who are using CBD products are not testing positive necessarily, but depends how much you're taking, how many milligrams. Did you check the labs on that product? You might test positive if it has any percentage of THC in it. So I want to make sure that I say that up front, because this is the most common question I ask. With that said, I recommend products for every single patient, every single person I speak to. I recommend products that have THC in them. And the reason why, even if it's just the legal 0.3%, is the way, hey Tiffany, the way the endocannabinoid system works is it requires this plant to work as it's grown. It's CBD and THC are what's in the plant, and then there's terpenes, and the whole plant is what we call it, is what creates the entourage effect. So the CBD and the THC work together. So a lot of times what I will hear from people who have tried CBD products is it didn't work, and then I would recommend maybe another product that is not just a CBD product. It's a CBD with a little bit more THC, and they will just take a small microdose or a gummy or something to start with, and they will have immediate results as far as their sex, pain, anxiety. However, you could get a little bit anxious. So that's why when you're looking at different products, and that's one of the reasons why I actually did this live, is because I had a friend call me and tell me that her products made her a little bit anxious. So with a lot of products that have THC, I always recommend my clients to start with a 1-to-1 ratio. What that means is that for every milligram of CBD, or for every milligram of CBD, you're getting a milligram of THC. So you're getting a very even dose of both, and they're working together, right? If that's too much, then you can go back and say, okay, you know what, that was a little bit too crazy, and I didn't like the effects that I had. Usually people are starting with like 2 to 5 milligrams of THC, like a THC CBD product. And the truth is, it's going to be individual basis. But I've had pretty much, and I'm trying to see who's on here right now because somebody commented earlier on my page, but I've had different clients try different things, and I think what's worked the fastest is inhalation, even though a lot of people do not want to smoke. I actually do dry vape, which is just using the herb, crushing it, putting it in the vape, and then it like toast it and you smoke it. It's not doesn't have any carcinogens because you're not burning it. You're not using a flame to torch it. So that is my preferred method. If I can't eat it, I actually prefer oils under my tongue, or I like edibles. Edibles are not for everyone. So that's the other thing that happens with a lot of women that come to me with issues with like sex and anxiety is they want to try edibles. If you try edibles, it can take 30 minutes to an hour, 2, 3, or 4. If anyone's ever tried an edible and wants to chime in, let me know. But I have had times where I've had an edible and I haven't felt it for hours and hours. I do take edibles for my shoulder pain. So I'm expecting like pretty much every 4 hours, 6 hours that I'm going to have pain coverage. Sometimes with the edibles, it will be surprise, your edible just kicked in. It's like 3 or 4 hours later. And it just has to do with your metabolism, how many fats, you're eating in your diet, because it loves fats. That's what helps it metabolize. It attaches and attracts to those fats in our bodies. And so, you're literally, what you're eating can affect how fast you're metabolizing it and your high experience. So, for example, if I am in a lot of pain and I only have edibles, I may have an edible and then have a spoonful of peanut butter, or put butter in my coffee, or something that's going to help with adding a little bit more fat content to help it kind of metabolize a little bit faster. That said, if you have an edible and then you go have avocado toast, you may start feeling those effects pretty rapidly. Hey, Janelle, you may have those effects pretty rapidly because it's been, because now you've added that fat content in there. So these are things to think about. So why does this matter? Because if you are planning to have sex tonight, or you are anxious right now, or you are having any kind of symptoms that you want to relieve with cannabis, you need to know the best method for you and how quickly do you need those results. So for instance, if you are wanting to take something to go to bed at night, you might take that an hour or 2 before bedtime to kind of get you where you need to go, depending on if you're taking a CBD or a THC. But the point is, you wouldn't take, if you're going to have a gummy, you wouldn't expect to take that right before you're going to have intercourse or something. It's not going to work. It takes, 30 minutes to an hour for that to start kicking in. So a lot of it is like preparation, knowing, that this is something that you need or want. What you will feel with a lot of the THC products is more euphoria during sex, more relaxation of the mind, where you don't have so many thoughts going in your head. I'm talking to the women here because every single person on this feed knows exactly what I'm talking about. And those racing thoughts, or those things that we're thinking about all the time that we need to really just shut down. Or like for me, is my child gonna knock on the door? Was that a coyote? Whatever it is, there's like the Wild West outside my window. So there's always things going on, and that relaxation and being in the moment can be hard. So that's something that is a definite, like, immediate. You immediately feel relaxed. You will immediately, start to feel, more euphoria, more feelings of warm, like your body will, begin to feel warmer. And again, each strain is going to be different, and that's why you have to kind of play around with them. But, you can have better orgasms. You can have sex longer. There's unhappy faces here. Why? So there are different, for every person, it's going to be a little bit different, right? But what I have gotten, and I will post some links here to some articles as well that I think are beneficial. But I think the top things that people report, and these are all anecdotal. What that means is we cannot do Well, they are doing more research studies now on cannabis, but because it's illegal on a federal level, there are not a lot of studies out there and research on cannabis, although there are. But we'll get on that in a later topic. But anecdotally means that we've talked to millions of people. It's not even thousands, millions of people. And we've said, hey, okay, you've tried this. How did it feel? We have the information. If we could get it to be legal on a federal level, it would be much more easier for us to research and find out that fine tune this, right? Because right now, like I said, it is on an individual basis. But from an anecdotal standpoint, what we found is that one, it does allow for relaxation. Two, it does allow, a lot of women report that it will let them quiet their mind, be more present, and definitely the euphoria piece is something that, you know, personally I enjoy. I want to enjoy sex. I want to be present in the moment. I want to be able to, you know, have orgasms. That's healthy. That is what it is to be healthy, is for your body to respond in, you know, and in a healthy way, you know, when you're having sex. And I think for, you know, one of the things before I even wrap this up, because I am going to get off here in a few minutes, if you have questions, definitely post them in there. One of the things that I do want to recommend, if you have had any kind of traumas or anything, you know, related to, you know, sexual dysfunction or abuse or anything, you know, from childhood or marriages or previous relationships or whatever it is, I don't necessarily feel that cannabis is the solution for that. So I always feel like that's important to address. I feel like if you have access to therapy and you can get that, those are things that are really important to have and to deal with, because they really, really are important. And you can, and cannabis is a great way to experience wonderful sex, but it doesn't solve those underlying problems. So I always want to get back to the root cause of things, because I feel like a lot of times with cannabis, we can experience wonderful things, but not go back to the root cause. So I always have to kind of go back to that, because the root cause lies within us, right? So what we found anecdotally, like I said before, is you know, it's immediate. You have the euphoria, orgasmic, you know, you will have multiple orgasms usually. And I will say this, that men and women are very different. So strains that work for men and strains that work for women can be very different, right? And think of it, it doesn't always work this way, but think of it in like the relaxation of the organs and things like that. So very important to think about as well, and why I like to work with people individually on what the best strains and routes are for them, because it doesn't work the same for, you know, for every single person, and then it definitely is different with men and women. Something else to think about with women, if you're having pain, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, pain with sex, it does definitely help with that, because there's a lot of relaxation. Some cannabis strains and some women respond differently to cannabis, where they will need extra lubrication. So that's something to know first and to kind of be prepared for, that could be something that you may have. Certain strains do, you know, they block your natural body response to lubricate your vagina. So then you may have that pain, if that's something that's an issue for you. What else? Depression. So euphoria, like I mentioned before, is definitely present when you take cannabis and you're, you know, having sex. You're going to have those euphoric feelings. But it's also beneficial in your everyday life. So for instance, with CBD, we were talking before, I have a friend who just told me, she's like, you know, she didn't realize her brain was racing all the time. And she's just been taking CBD once a day, I think it is, and has been doing so much, just feeling so much better, because she's more relaxed, she's more present. She didn't realize how her mind was racing before. You know, and I will tell you that most of people's depression and anxiety, it's those things in our head that just, it's like a constant machine going in there. So in addition to cannabis, and therapy. Those are the two things that I always recommend. I would definitely say finding stress relieving outlets. Um, Using cannabis can help you become more motivated, can help you become more active. A lot of people feel that, they don't, I talk to a lot of women who are not as active because they are, you know, they don't feel good about their bodies. I can't run. I'm too big, or I can't this, or I can't that. Whatever the situation is. But a lot of those feelings can be, I don't want to say pushed past, but can be relieved momentarily for you to get to the next place. And what I mean by that is, whether it's going on a walk, because it doesn't have to be that complicated sometimes, can just change your mindset, can just change, your brain. And so, in addition to using cannabis for sex, pain, anxiety, and depression, the biggest things that I can recommend to you is to upregulate, as we say, your endocannabinoid system by walking, exercising, eating good foods. Meditation is amazing. I meditate a lot, probably too much now, but meditation is so key because it's helped me just quiet that noise. And the good thing about cannabis is that once you use cannabis as a tool, once you start learning like how to turn your brain off and how to, be more present, it becomes more innate. And so you don't feel like, hey, okay, I'm really anxious, I need to go and, get high right now or whatever it is. You just feel more in control, and you can kind of get through the day and know, okay, later on I'll be able to get a good night's rest. A good night's rest is like, if you do nothing else, just get you some cannabis for a good night's rest. You cannot imagine how wonderful it feels when you have a good night's rest and what it will do for you in all areas: sex, pain, anxiety, depression, all the things, because you're just in a way better place. And this chat is specifically for women, but obviously it applies to men. It applies to everyone, really. Cannabis is a tool. And I talk about that all the time. If you go to my website, I pretty much say, like, you can't just expect cannabis to, completely heal you. Even if you had cancer and the cancer was gone, cancer's gone. You don't have any cancer anymore. But you're still having to do the work. Mentally, you still have to do the work. And cannabis is the tool that helps you do the work to get to the next place. It's like a support system that you may not have had before. And sometimes people say, oh, well, that just sounds so fluffy. And it really is. It is a support system. It is a tool I have. I was reading something that Nurse Heather had posted, where she said when she had, I think it was suicidal patients, she would have a kit that they would have, and it would have like 2 joints or something in there. And she would say, when you feel suicidal, smoke the first joint and then see if you still feel suicidal. It was like, do this first. Like, this is the safety vest. You know what I'm saying? This is it. Put your vest on first, put your mask on, and then let's see what happens from there. And I will tell you that a lot of times with my anxiety and my depression and my pain, that's really what it's like. And once you get past that and you realize, okay, I'm in a better place. Let me go do some laundry. Let me go take care of what I need to do. Everything is not so stressful. Okay, let me make a list. And I know some of these things may sound so trivial, right? But they are not, because women, men too, but women especially, we carry these burdens and we carry these responsibilities and these invisible, responsibilities, as they say, right? And we put ourselves last, and we don't have a vest, a safety vest, right, that we can just put on and just be like, okay. I told someone one day, they said, what does cannabis feel like to you? I said, cannabis feels like someone is cradling me and just holding me and just saying, it's okay, baby. And then I can go on and do the next thing I need to do, because sometimes my body and my mind are like all over the place, right? And then I can get back to that calm state and that calm place. So whether cannabis is the thing you need right before sex, or whether cannabis is the thing you need during the day to help you get some things done because you're not motivated or feel depressed, so that you can be in a better place when that time comes, to have sex or to just be present in life. You will see the benefits. And what I'm appreciating the most right now, from my messages, is that there are a lot of people that I know that cannot use cannabis that has, more than the legal 0.3%, like the hemp CBD products. And so that is what they're able to use based on where they live or based on where they work. There's different reasons why. And they're still seeing benefits as well. So a lot of times people will say, oh, well, that's because you're not using CBD. I mean, CBD is helpful. Do not get me wrong on whether CBD is not helpful or not, because CBD is CBD whether you get it from this plant or the other. It's just that one plant has more of a profile and more elements to it that give you that immediate response. Okay. But over time, we're seeing with CBD products, people are getting so many amazing results. So like I mentioned before, there are topical products that you can apply to your vagina. There are pills, drops under your tongue, gummies. I mean, there's a wealth of products out there. I don't know what area you're in, so depending on where you are, that's what's going to determine what's available to you. I do have a few products that I recommend because I know that they're good products. I know that the quality is good. I'm not affiliated with these products, but these are just products that I would recommend if you're not in California and don't have access to a dispensary, or if you're not in a state where you have access to a dispensary. If you're looking for just CBD-based products, let me know. And I'm going to get off of here. Let me know if this was helpful. Share it. You can also make sure to tune in next week. I'm going to try to do this again on Thursday and post a little reminder now to let you guys know for next Thursday that we'll be on here again. And I don't know if the topic will be sex, pain, and anxiety again. We will see. I'll see what kind of questions we get throughout the week. So let me know if you want a specific topic for next week, and I will see you guys then.